"Mom doesn't need your permission to meet another man," my daughter Abby said, her voice expressing a hint of sadness. Sarah, my wife of 19 years, had fallen into the arms of Robert Lindstrom, her colleague. "I'm going out on a date, Liam. Don't worry about waiting up for me." My world crumbled as she pursued her desires without remorse. I felt so hurt and angry. This is my story of vengeance and heartbreak. I hope you enjoy watching it. Liam Robertson leaned back in his seat, trying to find a comfortable position to sleep in. The space between the seats was a bit snug for his long legs. At 6'2" and 230 pounds, it felt like he was squeezed into a space meant for someone much smaller. He had been on this flight for 5 hours with another 4 to go. If he had known he'd have to put up with this, he might have thought twice about taking the job. Maybe he would have chosen a different way to travel. Still, the job meant he could escape his problems and pain for maybe 10 months, possibly up to 14 months. The chance to be far away from home was definitely a plus. While he was away, the problems he left behind could hopefully sort themselves out. His lawyer was on it. That's why he paid her, that's why he trusted her. He let go of the dream of finding a better job and leaned against the airplane window, closing his eyes.
This is your story channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please join us to stay updated with more real stories happening around you.
Closing his eyes. He needed some rest, even though he knew the memories would resurface when he tried. It was the day his happy life fell apart. Liam had come home from work later than usual that terrible day. It was just one of those days when nothing went right. Each moment brought new problems. Every thought felt a bit bitter. His meetings, his briefings, everything felt like a total bust. He was supposed to be the rising star, the guy moving up fast. He was on the fast track, right? But that day at work really humbled him. It was so bad that the CEO called him to a late meeting and offered him a job he didn't want. He knew he had to either take it or find a new job. Luckily, he had a few days to think about it. He came home in a bit of a bad mood, ready to tell his wife, Sarah, what was going on with his career. Things had been a bit rocky between him and Sarah for weeks ever since that silly party. And now he had to drop this bombshell on her. She was going to be furious. To be honest, Liam was a bit lost about what had been happening at home since that party. He was feeling a bit confused and upset. He was upset with Sarah. It wasn't his fault. It was all her fault. Everything that happened at that party was her doing, not his. Liam wasn't usually the type to feel jealous, but what Sarah did with Robert Lindstrom at the party really got to him. After all, fun is fun, especially when you're enjoying a few drinks. But what his wife and that guy did right in front of everyone was a bit much. Sarah spent the whole party with Lindstrom, ignoring Liam. At first, she gently suggested that he talk to other people. But as the night went on, she became irritated and finally rude. She went from friendly to flirty to inappropriate the longer she spent with Lindstrom. She got a little tipsy, she said, and let Lindstrom take the lead with everyone watching, including her husband. Liam was clueless about who this guy Lindstrom was. He had never heard of him before. When Liam came out of the bathroom and saw Lindstrom kissing his wife on the mouth, her shirt open, he finally had enough. He gently took his wife by the hand and led her home, though he felt tempted to do more. His priority was simply to get Sarah away from the party. Sarah seemed pretty sober on the way home. She was just upset about her husband's reaction, which she felt was embarrassing. Their house had been icy for the past 3 weeks, and Sarah refused to admit she had done anything wrong, calling Liam foolish, jealous, and immature during their arguments. They had been married for 19 years, a marriage Liam thought was good and loving. But then, out of the blue, she acted like this at a party and blamed him for it. Liam felt hurt and confused, and he couldn't understand why she was acting this way, especially since they had a good relationship. He was at a loss as to why she'd acted that way or why she'd blamed him. It was a confusing situation for him. He was exhausted from all the drama. Coming home that awful day, he found her dressed for a night out, a big smile on her face, ready to leave. "Sarah, what are you doing? We need to talk." "What happened?" "I'm going out, Liam, on a date. Don't wait up for me." "What are you talking about? What date?" Sarah's smile faded, and she looked at him coldly. "I've decided I'm not happy with my life as it is with you. I'm gonna try something different to make my life better. This new path begins tonight with this very date. Sarah, who are you going on a date with? Why are you acting this way? You've treated me horribly for 3 weeks, and now you're going on a date. What's going on with you? She frowned. A friend has asked me out, and we're going to dinner and dancing. I'm doing this for myself, Liam. It's what I want to do, and I don't need your permission or approval. I don't feel like explaining it to you. I didn't have time to make you dinner, but I'm sure you can take care of yourself. Just order in, go out, and have a good time. It's really not a big deal. Wait, is this a joke? I've had such a rough day, Sarah. This isn't funny. Liam, please stop. This isn't funny. I'm going on a date with Robert Lindstrom. He asked, and I said yes. What's going on? You're going on a date with that guy you were flirting with at the party. That guy. You're leaving me and our marriage for him. Sarah frowned again. I know you have your own opinions about him, Liam, but this isn't about that. What matters is what I think of him. I like him enough to want to spend time with him. Our marriage is not the issue here, so let's please set aside any negative thoughts and focus on the present. You're my husband, and I love you. I'm just going to spend some time with a friend. Are you sure about that? I don't have a say in this. Is that what you're saying, Sarah? Am I that unimportant to you? Do you really think you can just tell me this out of the blue? Really? Am I supposed to just accept this decision without saying anything? Well, guess what? I'm done with your nonsense. I've had to deal with 3 weeks of tantrums and you blaming me for your behavior. And now you want to date other men? No way. I'm not sure what you're thinking, but I'm really hurt. Remember, Sarah, it takes 2 to tango. When one person leaves, the marriage is over. If you go out that door to be with him or anyone else, then we're finished. I'm sorry, but I can't take much more of this childish behavior. I'm leaving. Don't wait up for me. With a heart full of sadness, Sarah walked out the door, leaving it firmly shut behind her. Liam stood there, taken aback, as he heard the car drive away. His wife had left to be with another man. His wife. How could this happen? Where did this behavior come from? Liam didn't know how long he stood there, but it was getting dark outside. Almost without thinking, he went to the basement and got all their suitcases. He carried them up to the bedroom. When he entered, he was taken aback by the sight of their bed, which was in a state of disarray with noticeable stains on the dark sheets. He took out his phone and snapped a few pics of the mess. In that moment, all doubt about the state of his marriage disappeared. Liam ripped the sheets from the bed and threw them against the wall. One by one, he filled the suitcases. When they were full, he looked for other bags to fill with his clothes and belongings. Once he had everything out of the closet and drawers, he began moving everything downstairs. He made a stop in his office and opened the safe, taking his passport, social security card, and half of the certificates of deposit. Then he took out his handgun, placing it on the desk along with 2 boxes of ammo and 4 spare magazines, leaving the safe wide open. Liam then sat at his desk, staring at his shaking hands. After a while, he started making phone calls. Mr. Abernathy? Sorry to call so late. It's Liam. Is that job offer still good? Yeah, it is. Are you taking it? Yeah, I am. I'm packing now. I'm so excited, but I'm also going to be super busy the next few days getting ready to leave. There are a few legal and banking details to take care of, but I'm sure we'll get through them together. I totally understand. Take care of what you need to. I'm sorry for the short notice, but I'm really excited to see you soon. Have you had a chance to see your wife? I'm sure this won't cause any problems for your marriage. No, sir. I just need to get a few things settled before I head out. Is it Saturday? The day I leave? Yes, Liam. Early Saturday morning. You'll have 4 days of training in Georgia, and then you'll be on your way. Have you decided to take a firearm? You are allowed to. Yes, sir. I'll be bringing a pistol. I'll be sure to pass the details along to your assistant. Yes, Liam. Just give him as much information as you can. And sir, do you need me in the office this week? Yes, Liam. We'll have a briefing on Friday afternoon at 1. You can plan on being there until about 8. Is that a good time for you? Yes, sir. That gives me plenty of time to wrap things up here. Liam, is your wife okay with you taking this job? She's sure it won't cause a problem for our marriage. I'm sure of it. Excellent. Liam, I really appreciate your honesty and willingness to take on this challenge. This job is very important to us as a company. It's a really big deal for us. I can't imagine entrusting this task to anyone else. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure, Mr. Abernathy. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm sure it'll be the most challenging job I've ever taken, but I'm excited to see what we can do. Good night, sir. I'll be sure to see you on Friday. Liam's next call was to his old college friend, Lillian Prescott, who was also his longtime family attorney. Hey Lillian, it's Liam. I hope I'm not bothering you at the moment. I hope you're doing well. I'd love to talk for a few minutes if you're free. Liam? What's going on? What's going on with your voice? I'm leaving Sarah. I'm getting divorced. I won't be there for most of it, so I'm looking for someone I trust to handle my side. I'd really appreciate your help. I know you and Sarah are close, but Lillian, I really need your help. Please. God, Liam, of course I'll help you. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. When can you come to my office? Tomorrow I have to go to the bank when it opens, and I'll be there for maybe 2 hours. Any time after 10 would work. Let's meet for lunch at 11. How about Mario's? We can talk and then go to my office. Does that work for you? Yes, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much, Lillian. Tomorrow, Liam. Just try not to do anything silly before then. Okay. I promise I won't. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, sweetie. The next call was going to be tough, but I'm ready for it. He had to tell his daughter what was going on. Abby was just 18 but already a junior at Berkeley. She had always been a top student, skipped 2 grades in high school, and was there on a full scholarship for a master's program. He knew that the news would be hard for her. Hey, honey, it's your dad. I've been expecting your call. I thought I would have heard from you sooner. Oh, why is that? I know, Dad. She said it from 3,000 miles away. I have a feeling that I know what Mom is doing tonight. I totally get why she's doing it. You do? How could you know that? She told me. We've been talking about this for months. Talking about what? You've known for months? Dad, look. She has the right. What right would that be, Abby? The right to throw away her marriage, is that what you mean? Dad, you're overreacting. Stop being so dramatic. Things are different now. Mom doesn't have to answer to you for what she wants to do in her life. She doesn't need your permission to see other people, and she doesn't even have to tell you she's doing it. Seeing someone else isn't about being married. Not in today's world. Women today, women of all ages, can explore their lives. Being married doesn't change that. Nowadays, marriage is simply about sharing resources. It's just an economic plan. It's natural to wonder if 2 people should commit their whole lives to each other. But in today's world, that's not the norm. I know it might sound a bit immature, but I'm not the one who's never had a serious relationship. Am I getting a lecture from a kid who's never had a serious relationship? Is that what's happening here? Yes, Dad, it is. Let's just be real here. Marriage is an old-fashioned idea. It's not essential outside of financial matters. No woman should ever feel like she's owned by a man. Abby, where did you pick up this idea? At school, is that what they teach there? No, Dad, not really. I had these ideas long before I came here. It's just that this campus has really reinforced them. I love you, Dad. But, it's important to be careful. What you did to Mom at that party was bad enough. Mom had every right to do what she did, and you shouldn't have embarrassed her like that. She chose to be with that guy, not you. You might have overstepped a bit by getting involved. Please just leave Mom alone. She made her own choice, and she has every right to do that without you messing with her. Are you on something, Abby? Do you understand what you're saying? Is it hard for you to understand our lives? What about my choices? Are you saying that Mom has all the say in our marriage? Do you think I don't have a say in our marriage? No, Dad, you don't. You're still seeing things the way you used to. Those days are over. I'm on Mom's side. I'm with her completely. She was always so open with me. She asked what I thought about what she did before and what she is doing now. I let her know that I approve. I'm rooting for her. It's time to let go and move forward, Dad. Let's not make a big fuss. Mom's just trying to have a good time, and I want her to know that I support her. I understand that you're worried about her, and I want you to know that I'm here for her. But I'm also concerned that your concerns are making her angry, and I don't want her to be upset. This choice doesn't have to affect you. It's as easy as that. It looks like you've decided to take a side, and that's totally okay. It's okay, though. I guess I just mattered to a certain extent to the women in my life. Liam hung up and turned off his phone. What's going on? He had felt sad about losing his wife, but now he felt angry. He went online and removed Sarah from his credit cards. She had her own, so she could use that one. While he was at it, he decided to change his login information. He paid off the balances using their joint savings account. Then, he thoughtfully moved half of the remaining savings into his account, making sure to change his login username and password for security. He did the same with their checking account, moving half to his account. Then, he went to his email and changed his username and password there, too. The house was almost paid off, so he didn't worry about that. She couldn't sell it or take out loans without his signature, but she could finish paying for it until the divorce. They had already paid for their cars, so he closed his laptop, gathered all the necessary cables, along with his tablet and phone, and packed everything up. The last things he took from the office were all their financial and tax records, which he would need. Took him an hour to pack his things, and then he was on his way. He closed the front door but didn't lock it. It wasn't his home anymore, so he didn't care. There was nothing in there that mattered to him, so he didn't bother looking for a hotel in town. Instead, he drove for 40 minutes to a nearby national hotel just off the highway. He checked in, brought all his things inside, and figured he'd be there for 4 days, so he didn't want to leave his things in the car. He didn't sleep, though. He couldn't stop thinking about Sarah and Abby. At 5 in the morning, he got dressed and left his room carrying his briefcase. Liam drove back home just to check what he suspected. When he arrived at 6:10 a.m., he noticed that Sarah's car wasn't in the driveway or the garage, and the front door was unlocked with the lights on. Liam believes that when people make choices, they should be prepared to live with the consequences. Sarah and Abby had made choices that were selfish and hurtful, and they knew they were causing a lot of pain to him in their family and didn't care. Now, Liam had to make his own choices. There was no turning back, no matter how hard or final it felt. He went inside, took off his wedding ring, and left it on the counter by the coffee pot. Then he left for good. Liam went to the bank as soon as it opened. He confirmed the money transfer, closed his account, and took a cashier's check with him. He also cashed his CDs even though it meant a big loss. There was no use keeping them now. Then, Liam went to another bank and opened a new account using Lillian's office address and phone number. Then, he went to a car dealership and sold his car, which was another big loss. He got a rental car for the rest of the week and deposited the check from the car sale into his new bank account. He went to Mario's restaurant, where Lillian was waiting for him. He spilled everything, what went down at the party the past 3 weeks and last night. Lillian was clearly furious. They had a quick lunch, but Liam didn't feel like eating. Then, they went to Lillian's office, where he gave her a big check and some papers to start the process. "So, you think Abby's the one making Sarah do this?" Lillian asked. "Honestly, it seems like it's all Abby's idea. She said she's been talking to Sarah about it for months. I'm amazed. My daughter and my wife doing this to me. I'm at a loss to understand why. Did Sarah give you any hints or say anything before the party?" "No, she didn't. She was just her usual self until we got to the party. We were laughing and joking in the car on the way, singing songs even. But once we got to the house, she walked away from me, and I haven't seen her with him since. I'm not even sure if she knew him before. For the last 3 weeks, Sarah has been teasing me a bit. Every conversation turned into a lively exchange of opinions. But then, last night, you should have seen her face as she was leaving. I don't worry, Liam. I'm here for you. What can I do to help?" "Thank you so much, Lillian. I'm sure the situation at home is tough, and I know you need a divorce. I stopped by the house this morning at 6:10. She wasn't home, and she hasn't been for a while. So, yes, I'm thinking we should go ahead with the divorce, and I'd love to get some help proving the adultery. Do you know someone who can gather the evidence we need?" "I do, but it won't be cheap. I'm not worried about the cost. I want to hurt her, Lillian, legally. I think she was with a guy in my bed yesterday, probably Lindstrom, but I'm not sure. How do you know she did that? Liam turned on his phone. He had missed calls from Abby and 3 texts from Sarah, but he ignored them and sent the pictures of their bed to Lillian. Lillian looked a bit upset when she saw the photos. What else do you need from me? Liam asked. I need a new will. I'm cutting Sarah and Abby out of my life. It's got to be ironclad, and I want to give you power of attorney so you can act for me in all ways. You're the only person I trust with this, Lillian. Can you do that? I can, she said softly. Liam, if she did this at your home yesterday, she's probably been doing it for a while. Women don't bring men home unless they're comfortable with them. Liam gave a slight shrug. Why are the houses for audio and video? Can that be done? Yes, my guy can do it. We just need a key and the alarm codes. Liam handed her his house key. Have you had a chance to check Sarah's texts? No, I haven't. Do that and I'll do the same. The first text came in at 10 p.m. last night. Sarah, it's time for bed. Liam. I won't be home tonight. Oh, you might want to change the sheets or not, your choice. The next text came at 4:30 this morning. I decided to spend the rest of the week with Robert. Please don't call me. I'm trying to enjoy this. I'd appreciate it if you could give me some space. The final text came just 30 minutes earlier. Sarah, I'd love to talk more when I get home on Sunday, as long as I'm not too tired. I think it would be best if you moved into the guest room. I'm a bit hesitant about sharing the master bedroom with you. That room is reserved for any guests I might bring home. What the heck, Liam? Hey, so, I just wanted to let you know that you've got the rest of the week to get your guy into the house. I'm thinking we could do it tonight if you want. It won't take long. I'll call him now. Are you going to answer any of those texts? No, I'm not going to answer any of those texts. Liam let out a deep sigh. What am I supposed to do then? I'm thinking we should just move Sarah into the guest room. That room is just for any guests I might bring home. What the heck, Liam? What do you mean, what the hell, Liam? What am I supposed to do then? I'm just worried that one of the neighbors might see you. We could do it tonight if you like. It won't take long. I'll call him now. Are you going to answer any of those texts? No, there's no point. What about your voicemails? Are they from Abby? Liam gave a slight shrug. No voicemails. Just missed call notices from Abby. Your property, Liam? Did you sell your car this morning? Yes, I did. Liam let out a deep sigh. I thought about letting Sarah have the house. I thought about letting her pay it off and live there. But now, forget it. She can either buy me out or we can sell it. I'm totally cool with either option. I'm not giving her anything. If I can, I'd like to take from her as much as I can. I wish I could promise more, Liam, but I can't. But if we can gather enough evidence to pursue an adultery case, the court is likely to rule in your favor when it comes to dividing things. There's also this guy, Lindstrom. If we find him, we can sue him for breaking up your marriage. If he's working with her, we might even be able to go after their company. I'll take care of everything while you're away. But, Liam, are you sure you really want to hurt them? I need to know this isn't just anger talking. It's not. You've known me for years, Lillian. You know I'm serious. Go ahead. Lillian looked at her old friend closely. No, this wasn't just short-term anger. He was set on this. All right then, Liam. I'll have everything ready for you to sign tomorrow morning. But it'll be about a week before she gets served since we need time to gather video and audio proof. That's all right. I won't be here, so just do what you need to, Lillian. Are you going to tell them you're leaving? Sarah and Abby? No, I don't think so. They don't need to know what I do anymore. Sarah might see that as you abandoning her and try to countersue with the adultery charge. I'm not obligated to stick around and watch that play out. Am I? No, I've got enough reason to move out now. You do. Who would you like to leave your things to in your will? Liam gave a slight shrug. I don't care, Lillian. Pick someone or something that'll upset Sarah and Abby. Maybe a donation to a political party they hate. Just make it count, Lillian laughed. That would definitely upset them. Go for it. All right, I'm going to start working on this. I'll meet you at your house at 5, and we can go from there. Absolutely. I'll be there. Sarah sat at her desk and yawned again. Last night had been a bit wild, staying up late with the young man she had started seeing. She thought about why being with Robert felt better than being with Liam. It wasn't because Robert was better in bed, he wasn't. It was new, adventurous, and fun, just like her daughter Abby had said it would be. Sarah felt content with her choice to spend the week with Robert. It felt invigorating, reminiscent of the exhilaration she felt on her honeymoon. They decided to be careful at work, not wanting anyone to find out about their relationship. Abby had grown into someone with strong beliefs. Sarah was proud of her. Abby had shared these beliefs, which had led Sarah to this new adventure with Robert. She felt so free to live her life the way she wanted, and she knew that Liam would just have to accept the new Sarah. Sarah picked up her phone and read Abby's messages again. Abby, hey Mom. I hope you're having fun. Just talked to Dad. It went as expected. He did end up hanging up on me just like I thought he might. He's upset and complaining. Don't be too surprised if he's gone for a few days. He'll be back. He doesn't have anywhere else to go after all. Take care of yourself and enjoy your time. I love you. Abby, I tried calling Dad a few times this morning. I think he might have turned his phone off. No worries. He just needs a little time to process everything. Don't worry if you can't reach him. Just focus on what you want to do. I didn't leave any messages, by the way. I love you. Sarah frowned at the second message. Liam never turned off his phone. He needed it for work. She knew he wouldn't reply to her messages. What could he say? That he was unhappy with her. But that was his problem, not hers. She decided to stay with Robert for the week, ending on Sunday. She and Liam had been together for 19 years. She didn't want to lose him. She loved him. But as Abby said, he needed to change his ways. Even if he didn't, she would stay with him. Liam was a great husband and father. She knew she wouldn't find another man like him, so she would keep him. She wasn't going to stop seeing other men on a whim, but she was determined to make her relationship with Liam work. She missed him these past 3 weeks. She missed his smile, laugh, voice, touch, but she felt she had to do this. Sarah knew she needed to let go of her emotions to fully enjoy the trip, and Abby was right. That girl was so clever. Sarah yawned and smiled, thinking about Robert, and couldn't help but chuckle to herself. That evening, Liam met Lillian and her investigator at his house. The investigator set up small wireless cameras and microphones around the house in less than an hour. They stashed the recording device in the garage, using a clever fast router to keep it hidden. Everything was ready. The investigator would park down the street and collect all the videos and sounds each day. It would only take about 10 minutes to download the data each time. Liam and Lillian went to a nice, quiet restaurant for dinner. Liam still didn't feel like eating much. Lillian asked, "What are you going to do tonight, Liam?" "I'll go back to my hotel," he said. "I might have a glass of wine or something. Who knows when I'll get another chance." "Do you think you and Sarah can get through this?" Lillian asked. No, Lillian. I can't accept the life she wants, and I won't live the way she wants me to either. I might have been able to forgive one party, given some time, but this? Never. What about Abby? I know you're upset with her too. You want to remove her from your family legally. Is that truly what you want? I don't have proof, just her words. But I believe she pushed Sarah down this path. Sarah wouldn't do this on her own. Abby, I'm really surprised by the things Abby is saying. I think she's leading this. I'm sorry, but if this is how she thinks of me, then she's no longer my daughter. I don't like her anymore, and I won't support her. What will you do? Lillian asked. I've been putting money away each week from my paycheck for Abby's account. It's for her spending food, gas, whatever she needs. It's a good amount to keep her comfortable. I'm planning to stop it when I change my direct deposit with HR tomorrow. Abby can get a job like everyone else, or Sarah can pay for her. I'm sure we can find a way to support Abby in a way that works for everyone. You can also sue Abby for causing emotional damage if you'd like. If we can find some solid evidence from the cameras, you've got a strong case. I'm not sure how that would turn out, though. What would I get? A judgment against her. She has nothing. Yes, a judgment. That would mean she couldn't buy anything expensive like cars or houses. She won't be able to get credit cards or loans, even for school. It'll come after her unless she pays or you withdraw the case. You can sue her in this state even if she doesn't live here. If you can gather enough evidence, I'd highly recommend pursuing legal action. The important thing is that she understands the consequences of her actions. I'm worried about you, Liam. I'm worried about you. Liam. I'm concerned about where you're going and what you'll be doing. I'm a little worried. I've already made my commitment, though. I don't break my promises, Lillian. The company is counting on me, and that's really important to me. They're not like my old family, and I really care about that. I think you do too. Just don't do anything foolish and get hurt. Okay? I couldn't bear to lose you, Liam. You've been my best friend for almost 20 years. Liam smiled, remembering their college days. I'll be back to see you if for no other reason. Maybe we'll go dancing or something. Ha! Ha! You've got to dance with me for 2 decades coming. Maybe I should collect before you leave. Oh, but that might bring you bad luck. I'll be back soon, and then we'll dance, I promise. I'll hold you to that, Liam. Liam chuckled. Oh, one more thing, Liam. What are you going to do with your extra clothes? Are you planning to store them? I guess so. I haven't thought about it yet. You're more than welcome to store it at my place. I've got plenty of space. Really? That's great. That'll take a load off my mind, and I'm so glad we'll have that chance to connect again. Lillian laughed. How so? I'll probably need new clothes by the time I get back. Lillian laughed again. Don't count on it, Liam. I might be wearing them while you're gone. What? Are you serious? You must be joking. Maybe I'll send you a picture just to be sure. Liam laughed out loud. I'm really looking forward to that picture. You'll use your usual email, right? For now, I made a new one just for us. He gave her the new email info. Why a second account? The old one is for general use and my company. I might get my usual email account hacked, you know. We'll use the new one for private messages, and that'll be our secret code. I think that's a great idea. Now, where do you want Sarah served the divorce papers? At work. I'm just trying to be helpful here, but I'm worried that it might embarrass her. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure I'm right. All of them. Liam didn't get as drunk as he'd told Lillian he would. He had just enough to numb his heartache and get a good night's sleep. The next morning, he checked his phone and saw he missed a couple of calls from Abby. But she didn't leave any voicemails. There was one text from her. Abby, you're not answering your phone. Stop acting like a child and accept your life has changed. You're only hurting yourself, and I don't want you to get hurt more than you have to. This change will be difficult, but it's essential for your well-being. I know it's hard, but I really think you need to accept what's happening with you and Mom. I'm here for you, and I want us to be able to talk things through. I'm here to help you get through this. I'm here for you, just like I was for Mom. I'm here for you. Talk to me. Liam looked a bit surprised by what Abby said. She didn't want to see him hurt. Really? She had helped her mother change. Now he knew who was behind Sarah's change. He left his phone on vibrate and took a shower. After that, he thoughtfully forwarded Abby's text to Lillian and then went down for a hearty breakfast. From the hotel, he went to work and stopped in the HR office. He made the changes he needed to make, but had to sit through a lot of questions from Nancy Baker, the head of HR. Eventually, he lost his patience and told her his decisions were private. Nancy was shocked and stopped asking questions, but did tell Liam that this week's payment had already gone to his daughter, but it would be the last. She let him know that Abby's health and life insurance would continue until the end of the month, and then it would stop. His paycheck for the current week would also go to his old bank account, and the next one would go to his new account. She gently handed him a sticky note showing his pay for the month. Before leaving, Liam looked at Nancy and apologized for getting upset with her. My wife and I are going our separate ways. It's not because of this job. She's found someone new, and my daughter's on board. My ex will start paying for my daughter's things. I'm sorry, but it's true. Nancy stood up and gave Liam a big hug. Oh my God. Liam, I'm so sorry, especially now. If you need anything at all, I'm here for you. You know how to reach me. Thank you so much, Nancy. Do I need to ask you to? I won't say a word except to Mr. Abernathy, and he'll need a very good reason for asking. Okay? Liam nodded and smiled warmly. Thank you so much. I'll be back Friday afternoon. I'm sure I'll be at the briefing that I'll be there, too. You know it's casual clothing for you, right? That's what I was going to wear anyway. Everything else is stored. Do you have a good lawyer looking out for you while you're gone? I do. The best I know. I've known her for nearly 20 years. I trust her completely. She'll be in touch with you because I gave her power of attorney. She can stand in for me in all matters. I'm so glad to hear that. I'll see you Friday. She gave him another warm hug, and he took his leave. Next, he went to see Lillian. She had everything ready for him to sign. An hour later, he left with Lillian's promise to spend Friday evening with him until he was ready for bed. After that, he bought a new phone. His old phone wouldn't work where he was going, but he kept the same number. Why not? He got in touch with Abby twice more that day, and they texted back and forth. Both texts were like the first, so he just forwarded them to Lillian. For now, he didn't feel like responding to Abby or Sarah. He figured he'd respond to them next week, though. Surprisingly, the week went by quickly for Liam. The briefing went by fast, too. It was a big project his company was counting on, and Liam felt proud that Mr. Abernathy trusted him with it. However, he was unsure how they could finish in 10 months. He thought 14 months might be more realistic, and he mentioned this to Mr. Abernathy. Everyone at the meeting stressed that 14 months was the longest time they had to complete the project. Liam just nodded along, understanding the challenge. What could he do, really? His phone buzzed 5 times during the meeting. He figured it couldn't be Lillian. She had her special ringtone, so it must be Abby or Sarah. He didn't care. Later, when he was with Lillian, he checked his phone and showed her the messages. Sarah, you can have some small courtesy since you still live in the house. I'm excited to let you know that I'm bringing Robert home with me on Sunday. He's spending the night, so if you haven't already, change the sheets. I'm really looking forward to meeting him. He has a right to know who he's sharing me with, even if it's just for a bit. I hope you've calmed down and will behave. If you're not, I'll have to ask you to leave. You don't have to answer this. I'd love to hear from you before Sunday, but I understand if you need some time. I'm looking forward to our time together, Liam. I'm not in the mood for any nonsense, and I'm really hoping we can have a peaceful conversation. Is she trying to do something? What is she trying to do? Lillian gasped. I'm not sure, Lillian, but I think she'll lose everything. You can bet on that, Liam. Send me that text, please. He did, and I'm so grateful to him for that. The other texts were from Abby. Abby. Dad, you've had enough time to stop acting this way. It's okay, we all need a break sometimes. Boring. Do what Mom says and try to see things from her perspective. You're lucky that she still wants to stay married to you, and I wonder why. You're not acting like a loving husband. It would mean a lot to me if you'd answer your phone when I call. Enough of this, Dad. If you're feeling upset, go ahead and let it out. You're on your own now. I tried my best. Now it's time for you to take charge. Liam sent those messages to Lillian, too. When will you tell them, Liam? Soon, I think. Sarah's bringing her new guy home on Sunday, so you'll have audio and video for then. That should help, right? Sounds good. Feel free to give me a call to update me and give me a ring before you serve her. I might be traveling when you file, but I can contact you from anywhere. Here's something for you. Liam handed her a sheet of paper. I'll happily pay extra for your server to read this out loud when they serve them. If you can, try to catch them in a public place like the break room or HR office. I'd love to do it in the HR office. Lillian took a look at the sheet and burst out laughing. No, Liam. We'll do this for free. On Saturday morning, Liam was at the airport at the early hours of 4:30 a.m. He was a bit stressed about security, and he was worried about his packed pistol making it to Georgia. Thankfully, the flight was smooth, and he slept through most of it. When he arrived, 2 people in uniforms greeted him. One was a big, muscular guy with small eyes and a small mouth. The other was a woman, standing very straight with her hair pulled tight. She had a stern and plain face, but her eyes were dark, almost black and very sharp. Liam thought she might be Native American, but he wasn't sure. He didn't know much about Native Americans. The woman strode purposefully forward, her imposing figure accompanied by the imposing figure of the muscular man. Mr. Robertson? Liam Robertson? Liam? Liam shook her hand warmly. You have a strong grip. Yes, you are? My name is Captain Maggie Dumbarton. This is Sergeant Peter Elliott. We're here to take you to your training site. You have luggage? I do. You brought a pistol? Yes, I hope it made it. I really like that pistol. Captain Dumbarton didn't comment. She just started walking toward the baggage area. The sergeant whispered to Liam, You'll get used to her. She's a bit reserved at first, but she's an excellent officer. When we're alone, just call me Pete. It's cool. Liam and Pete walked fast, but they couldn't catch up to her without running, and Liam wasn't in the mood to run. Liam's bags made the trip with him, including the suitcase containing the pistol, which he had carefully sealed with tape. Liam hoped the pistol was still inside. So, Captain, what's the plan? I understand my training starts today. She looked back at him, then faced forward again. Yes, Mr. Robertson. It'll take about 45 minutes to get to the base. Once we get there, we'll get you settled into your quarters. After that, we'll head to the firing range where you'll show me how much you love your pistol. We'll take it easy today. You'll fire 300 rounds and then clean it. Then we'll move on to the M4 rifle, and you'll have another chance to show your skills with 300 rounds, followed by a thorough clean. Once you've done that to my satisfaction, we'll go to the mess hall for dinner. You'll meet your team there. Her voice was surprisingly pleasant, though a bit clipped. Sounds like fun. I was worried I'd have to run miles a day or something, but it looks like it'll be easier than that. She gave him another odd look, as if he were a bit silly. Do you want to run 12 miles a day? That can be arranged. Oh no, thank you. I'm not a big fan of running, to be honest. I see, she said in an even tone. No running then and no driving, she added kindly. Oh boy, Liam muttered. The sergeant snickered behind him. The drive was long and boring, with neither the captain nor the sergeant saying much. Liam, in the back of the Humvee, dozed off. The quarters were better than he'd imagined. A sleeping area, a small sitting area, and a private bath with a small shower. There wasn't a TV or radio in the room, but he got a password for internet access. They did warn him not to watch inappropriate content on the military network, which he frowned at and shook his head, but he was determined to explore everything this new place had to offer. The captain was standing nearby as he opened his suitcase. You've brought a lot of stuff with you, she said. What do you mean? I was told I could bring 150 pounds. Do you have 150 pounds with you? No. It totaled 135 pounds. You'll be fine with just 66 pounds. Maybe I should check what you brought. Oh no, you don't need to do that. I'm not comfortable with strangers going through my things. I have what I think I need. I'm within the weight limit. Why does it matter to you? Who's going to carry all this for you? I'll do it, based on your question. Do you think you could carry 135 pounds for long stretches? I'm not sure. What do you think a long stretch is? Maybe 40 or 50 yards. And how long does that take? About 30 seconds. Yep. Not even with a taxi. You're joking, right? No. Well, that's too bad. At that moment, his phone rang. He fished it out of his pocket and accidentally hit the speaker icon. Lillian's voice came through quickly. Liam, listen. Sarah came back to the house with her new boyfriend a day early, 3 hours ago. My friend was on the block checking the system to make sure it was ready for tomorrow. He saw everything live as it downloaded. They went straight to the bedroom, and poor Sarah was so upset when she saw that all of your stuff was gone. They didn't waste any time, though. They've been doing it all over the house. She's chatting with Abby now and plans to give you a call soon. Sarah's upset that you left and wants her new boyfriend with her. When she calls you, she really wants you to hear it from her. Oh, Lillian, please wait a moment. You're on speaker and I'm not alone. Oops. Why didn't you say something? Liam felt his face flush with embarrassment as the captain gave him a hard stare. He felt like he was on fire, like his face might melt. He played around with the phone, and the captain took it, turning off the speaker. Thank you, he said, feeling a bit embarrassed. Lillian, do you have enough video and audio to show she's cheating? The captain turned away, but she could still hear the other side. Yes, Liam. I'm sorry. Are you okay? Yeah, it's fine, Lillian. Don't worry about it. Do you have enough evidence to show that she's cheating? Oh yeah, we've got more than enough. My guy also got her new boyfriend's license plate, so we have all his info, too. I'll file the papers as soon as the courthouse opens on Monday morning. I just wanted to let you know that Sarah and this Lindstrom guy are going to be served at around 10:30 on Monday morning, and the company will be served too. It looks like Lindstrom works for Sarah, so I'm going after them. Okay, great. What about Abby? Oh, sorry, Liam. Sarah had her phone on speaker, and Abby was saying that it was her idea. Apparently, the whole thing with you and Sarah is based on a school project she's working on with some students. Abby was upset because you weren't cooperating, and she's worried she'll fail because of it. She's really upset. I'll have her served too. I'll happily cover the airfare and any other expenses. I'm not sure if we can take legal action against the school, but I'm thinking about it. I'll have to find someone in California to ask. But Liam, it's California. Things are a bit messy there, but I'll find someone who can help. I'll do my best to find someone. I heard that this school has its students tearing their parents' marriages apart for a project. That's just not right. I'm sure you'd agree that it's important to address these issues. We should hold them accountable for their actions. I'll do my best, Liam. I know this is going to be hard, but it's really important that you answer when Sarah calls. Please be sure to record the call. Do you know how to do that? I'm sorry, Lillian, but I don't know. I'm not sure how to do that either. I'm sorry, but I can't do that. I'm sorry, but I can't do that. Liam, I understand that this is painful for you, and I'm here for you. It's just part of the process. Are you sure? He hissed. I have to listen to some guy with my wife to prove I'm upset? That's a bit much, don't you think? I'll send you the voicemail if she leaves one. That's as far as I'm going. I've had enough, Lillian. Just end it for me, please. All right, I'll do that. I'm sorry, Liam. I'm sorry, Lillian. Please don't hate me, that I promise I won't. I'll be right there. I've got to do something. What? Bye. Liam ended the call, his face still red. I'm sorry about that, Captain. No need to apologize, Mr. Robertson. Things happen and we're all in this together. We just didn't realize you were dealing with this emotional stuff. That's because I didn't tell anyone, Captain. But I'm more than happy to share if you need to know. I think I do, Mr. Robertson. I'm here for you, and I'm in charge of your security for the next 10 to 14 months. I think it's important that I know what's going on with you. Is that clear? Yeah, I think so. Really? You're following me around for a year or so? That's right. I'm working with the team you'll meet later. Liam gave her his phone after giving her the same rundown he had given Lillian. Sarah is my wife and Abby is my daughter. Read the text to catch up. Well, the captain whispered. This is... Wow. It's all for a school project for your daughter? She's behind this. Yes, it seems so. I see. I can see why this is going to take a lot of your time. Oh, and that caller? Lillian. She's my lawyer. We've been friends since my first day of college. And she's been there for me through everything. She's like a best friend to me, and she's got my power of attorney, so I know everything's in good hands. My priority is finishing this project on time. That's all on my mind. I just need to send an email to my daughter tonight and one to my wife on Tuesday. Then I'll be out of the picture. What's your plan with your daughter? I've legally disowned her and cut off her financial support. She's her mother's responsibility now. Well, Mr. Robertson, I misjudged you. You're a tough cookie. I'm impressed. I don't see what other choice I had. Like you said, I don't have time for this mess. They've made their choices and they'll have to live with them. Are we ready to go shoot something? I really need it. Captain Dumbarton laughed. I bet you are, Mr. Robertson. Yeah. Let's switch topics, Mr. Robertson. I'm Liam unless we're in some formal setting. Feel free to call me anything but Liam, and I'll just ignore you. Is that all right with you? I'm sorry, but I'm feeling a bit grumpy today. I understand, Liam. I'm better now. I'm Maggie in private. But don't worry, you can always call me Maggie at other times. Is that okay with you? Liam laughed. Absolutely. Let's go shoot. The firing range wasn't anything special, but it was a good place to practice. It was just an open area with stationary paper targets. Liam got the lowdown on the range and safety rules from Sergeant Elliot, who also gave him ear protection and boxes with 300 bullets. Captain Dumbarton then explained what they would be doing that afternoon. "This afternoon, you'll get to shoot your gun so we can see how good you are," he said with a smile. "We'll pause to address any issues and then you can continue. Your target is at 7 yards. Have you practiced with this pistol often?" "Yeah, I find shooting relaxing. I go to my local range at least twice a month, and I've shot about 1,000 rounds with this pistol since I got it. The instructors at my range are very helpful, so I'm sure I'll do well." "Thank you. Just load all of your magazines. But please keep your pistol safe and unloaded until I give you the green light. Begin now." Liam quickly loaded the 4 magazines and followed the captain's instructions. Once he started shooting, he got into his usual rhythm and wasn't interrupted. The captain looked at him and said, "Very good. You've been well trained. Your shots are very close together, and they're right where you aimed. But I noticed you only shot 1 magazine into the center or the heart. The rest were split between the face, throat, and lower body." I asked Liam about this, and he shrugged, explaining that he'd been taught to focus on the most vital areas. "I was taught to aim for places that would end a fight quickly. It's just a habit I've developed over time." "Did you use the sights on your pistol?" "Couldn't tell. No, I learned to point aim. It's almost like the barrel of the gun is an extension of my own finger, pointing right at my target. It's such an interesting and practical approach. You'll need to use the sights when we switch to the M4, but point aim is good for handguns. Let's move on to the 15-yard target." Liam repeated the steps, and he noticed that his shots were a bit more spread out at 15 yards, but he still managed to hit the target with all of them. "Now, let's try 25 yards, the captain said with a warm smile. 25 yards was a bit of a challenge for Liam. He hadn't practiced at that distance, so his shots weren't as good. They stayed there until he used up all the ammo, which was expected. "You brought a 1911. 45 ACP pistol, which isn't known for long-range shooting, and you haven't practiced aiming for this distance. We'll work on that together. For now, please clean your pistol as quickly and thoroughly as you can." Liam cleaned his pistol at his usual pace, not thinking he was being timed. When he was done, he turned to show the captain, only to be hit with a cloud of sand from Sergeant Elliot. "What on earth was going on? Why'd you do that? Now I gotta clean it again." "Oh, you're right, Mr. Robertson. Dust and sand are bound to be an issue in that area. You'll have to learn to deal with it." Liam felt a bit overwhelmed, and he let out a sigh. "You remind me of the women in my life," he said. Captain Dumbarton laughed. "I'm here to help, starting this very morning. I'd appreciate it if you could clean that pistol quickly. You can do it, and you're doing it." Sergeant Elliot got him 2 more times. The 3rd time, Liam covered the pistol with his free hand. The M4 was a blast to shoot, but cleaning it was a bit of a challenge, and Sergeant Peters kept teasing him. By the time he was done, Liam was fuming. Captain Dumbarton wasn't pleased with how long it took him to clean the weapons, and he was in a bad mood when they went to the mess hall for dinner. "I don't usually eat in the mess because I'm an officer. This platoon is special because we exist just for you. There are 44 soldiers in it, split into 5 squads. Usually, a lieutenant would lead a platoon, but I'm on this mission." Captain Dumbarton introduced Liam to all the platoon members. He did his best to remember everyone's name, but there were just so many. The food, unfortunately, was not up to par. Liam put on a brave face and managed to eat it, but he wasn't happy about it. He found himself thinking about whether he'd be eating like this for the next year. Sarah didn't call him that day, and he missed her. Back in his room, he thought about writing an email to Abby. He wasn't sure how often she checked this email account, but he didn't care. She'd see it or not, and he didn't want to waste his time with a greeting. "This is the last time you'll hear from me. I don't need to tell you what I've done. I'm not like you or my unfaithful wife. I've taken the legal steps to disinherit and disown you. It's done. You're no longer my daughter, my only child, or my heir. You put an end to that. I'm moving on with my life. I'll be transferring the last of my funds to you this week. Also, you and your mother are no longer on my company insurance plans. At the end of the month, you'll lose your health and life insurance. I'm sorry, but I can't take care of that anymore. I hope you find happiness and success in your future endeavors. I'm not sure why you did what you did, especially to me, but I hope you're happy with yourself. If this is what you wanted, then that's fine, but otherwise all your actions don't really matter. I'm a little embarrassed that I helped bring someone like you into this world. I'm sorry, but it's clear that I'm divorcing your mother. That's already settled. Please don't call or text me anymore. I'd appreciate it if you could find other ways to reach me, because I'm not responding to any more texts or emails. We've both made our own choices in life and I've made mine. Liam wasn't happy with what he wrote, but he was tired. He thought it was good enough, so he sent the email and copied Lillian. He didn't hear anything from Abby, but Sarah was different. Her first text came late on Sunday afternoon. Sarah, I miss you. I told you to come back home. Come home today. Robert is excited to meet you. I'm a little worried, so I'm writing to let you know that I'll have to contact an attorney if you don't come home right away. Liam, I'm worried. Don't test me. Please come home now. Then early Monday afternoon. Sarah, I'm worried about you. Are you sure about filing for divorce because of this? I'd hate to think of you as someone who would make a joke out of my infidelity, that I'm hurt by what happened at work, and I'm confused by your lack of communication, that I'm not sure what I did wrong. But I'm worried about our future. I don't think a divorce is the best solution. I'm not going to judge you. I'm doing what I want. Stop these silly lawsuits against Robert and my company. Let's put an end to this nonsense and come home together. Today, right? An hour later, Sarah. Oh my gosh, have you been taking something? Did you not love our daughter? What's going on? Is this some sad attempt to get me back? I'm sorry, but it won't work. Liam, stop what you're doing. This isn't like you, Liam. Hey, it's Sarah. I hope things are going well for you. I got fired today and so did Robert. I'm sorry, but I have to ask. Why did you go after him? He didn't do anything wrong. I'm sure we can work this out. I'm sorry, I don't mean to yell. I'm just really upset. Hours later, Sarah. Come home, Liam. We can work this out. Let me explain. I don't want to lose you. Please come back to me. I'm begging you. You know I love you. I'm sure there's been a big misunderstanding. I miss you so much, and I'm hoping you'll come home to me. Liam showed the texts to Captain Dumbarton to keep her informed, then forwarded all of them to Lillian. He didn't talk with her until that evening, though. Hey Lillian, busy day, huh? Lillian laughed. You have no idea, Liam. We still have the cameras at your old house, so it's been a real show. Sarah's been going back and forth between yelling and crying. She's not sure which is worse. Thank goodness her boyfriend is there for her. I can't help but feel a bit sorry for him. And what about Abby? Did she get my email? I'm worried about her. I also filed a lawsuit against her. One of my associates is already working on it. I'm hoping Abby will get served by the morning, maybe even in class. The school will get served first, and they know it's coming. Your lawsuit against the school probably won't do much, but the bad publicity will hurt them. It's already been decided that Abby and her group will lose any scholarships they have. She's on a full ride, so she'll have to leave school unless she can pay for it, which she can't. She won't be able to get any grants or loans because of your lawsuit. I'm sure that's what you wanted, right? Yes, that works. You okay? Liam? I'm doing all right. They've got me pretty busy here, so I haven't had a chance to think about everything. Tomorrow is another story, though. I'll feel it all then. Lillian, I'll tell Sarah tomorrow that she needs to go through you for everything. Are you ready for that? Lillian laughed. Of course. Just send her my way and have her bring her attorney. We'll take care of everything, Lillian. Thank you so much. I wouldn't have anyone if not for you. Hey, Liam, you know I care about you, right? Maybe not the marrying kind of love, but I do care deeply. Maybe when you get back, you can make a case for the marrying kind. No matter what, you've got a best friend in me, always. I'm always here for you, my friend. I won't. Hey, maybe you could take a vacation and join me for a couple of weeks. What do you think? Lillian laughed again. No way, cowboy. I'm telling you, my idea of a vacation is the beach. If you can arrange that, I'd be delighted to accept your offer. On Tuesday morning, Liam was all packed and ready to go. He and the platoon were taking a military flight out of Georgia. Before he left, he sent a friendly text to Sarah and Lillian. Liam, Sarah, you really need an attorney. Get one. He suggested that she make an appointment to see Lillian and bring her attorney with her. And don't forget to bring your daughter, too. She should be with you by then. Lillian has my full power to stand in for me on all personal matters. Just so you know, you can ignore her if you want, but I don't think you will. I'm heading out of the country today, but I'll be thinking of you. I won't be back for a while. I fully approve of anything Lillian says or does on my behalf. We're officially separated now, and we're just waiting for the divorce to be finalized. I'm not responsible for your living expenses or support. Losing your job is your problem, not mine. You're on your own now, and I'm sending you all my love. I wish things had turned out differently, but you and your daughter made that impossible. You've got to take responsibility for your actions. So, Abby Robertson was trying to get comfortable in her seat with her classmates. She yawned, hoping she could stay awake through the class. She hadn't slept since she received that email from her father. Unfortunately, her mom wasn't helping at all. She was upset with her dad, wondering if he had the right to cut her off like that. Was that even legal? She didn't care. She was determined to stand her ground. She felt strongly that he shouldn't be pointing the finger at her for his personal issues. She was determined to show him. Just as her professor started the lecture, two people entered the room. One was the dean of her school. The other was a young woman dressed casually. They approached her professor, who listened for a few moments and then said, "Class today is canceled. Would the following students please come forward?" The professor called out Abby's name and those of her project group. Most of the class left quickly, but some stayed behind, recording everything with their cell phones. Abby and her friends stood before the professor, the dean, and the woman who stepped forward. "Abby Robertson, please step forward and face me." Abby frowned but ignored the woman. The woman repeated, "Abby Robertson, please step forward and face me." The dean looked at Abby, frowning. "Please step forward, Miss Robertson." "Please do it now, Miss Robertson." Abby did as she was told, her heart pounding with trepidation. Her knees felt a bit shaky. The young woman held out an envelope to Abby, who took it reluctantly. "Abby Robertson, you have been served. What you have is a court order stating that you have been disowned and disinherited by Liam Carl Robertson, your former father. You're no longer his kid or his heir. Do you understand?" "I'm afraid I don't. What's going on?" Abby stammered. "I'm just trying to understand if you're with me here. Do you understand?" "I do understand. But..." "Very good," the young woman said, holding out a second envelope to Abby. Abby wasn't so sure about this one. She wasn't sure what it was, but she wasn't comfortable with it. Her eyes grew wide with fear as she looked at the dean, who looked at her with a disgusted expression. He pointed at the envelope the woman was holding and flicked his hand. The message was clear. Abby, her eyes wide with fear, took the second envelope. "You have been served," the young woman said, her tone gentle but firm. "This is a notice that you are being sued for alienation of affection. You're being blamed for the end of the marriage between Liam Carl Robertson and Sarah and Robertson. Do you understand what you've been given?" Abby started to cry and was shaking. She felt like she might be sick. "Answer the woman, Miss Robertson. Do you understand? Or do you need more time?" The dean asked kindly. "I do." Abby stuttered. One by one, the other students in the project group were called forward and served their own summons. One of them even threw up. The dean said they were no longer students at that school and their scholarships were revoked. He encouraged them to seek legal assistance as soon as possible and left with the professor following him. The young woman stayed with Abby and her friends. Her eyes were cold as she spoke to them. "Liam Carl Robertson wanted to make sure you all understand that actions have consequences. You'll all face the consequences of your actions and your attack on his marriage and on him. I truly believe that each of you should face the appropriate consequences for your actions. You're all really sad excuses for human beings." She turned and left the classroom, her associate following closely behind, both of them recording the encounter. The video had been sent to Liam, who watched it with Captain Dumbarton. Liam had tears in his eyes. He felt bad about having to do that, but he understood that he'd have to deal with the results of his actions. The captain smiled, showing a bit of admiration and respect after watching. 3 weeks later, Lillian was waiting in her office meeting room for Sarah to arrive with her lawyer. Sarah had hired Charles Baker, of all people. Lillian had faced Charlie many times before and always came out on top. She was excited to face him again. Lillian's assistant kindly ushered the group into the meeting room, and Sarah and Abby both looked a little nervous, perhaps even a bit scared. Good. Charlie, as expected, was his usual arrogant self. What an idiot, Lillian teased. Let's begin. Does anyone need coffee or water before we start? Charlie, of course, asked for coffee. He always did. Abby asked for water, and Sarah didn't say anything to Lillian. Very well, Lillian said as she handed each of the three a sheet of paper. Just a heads up, this meeting is being recorded. Here's a copy of Liam Robertson's power of attorney, making me his sole representative for his affairs while he's not here. Take a moment to review it, Lillian said kindly. The assistant returned with the drinks while Lillian waited. Charlie looked over the document while Sarah and Abby read it carefully. Then Lillian gave Charlie a folder. Charlie, it's important that you review this with your client. It's got video, audio, and text messages, plus sworn statements about your client's cheating during the divorce. It's clear that Sarah Robertson chose to end her marriage in the worst way possible. Sarah tried to speak. You will call me Miss Prescott, Mrs. Robertson, and speak through your lawyer, Lillian replied, her tone a bit cold. Lillian handed Charlie another thick folder. This one had copies of sworn video and written statements from students involved in Abby Robertson's fake school project. It's clear that Abby and her mother worked together to ruin Liam Robertson's marriage and attack him personally. All 4 students admitted what they did and will testify for Liam. Charlie, I'm wondering if you're also representing Abby Robertson in her attempt to cancel Liam's dissolution of issue? Oh yes, I am. Good luck with that, Lillian teased. Hey, just save everyone the trouble and drop it after you review this. Okay? We'll see, Lillian. For now, we need to talk about your client supporting Mrs. Robertson until the trial. She's going through a tough time right now. A phone rang, and Lillian pressed a key on her laptop. The large TV behind her showed Liam's image, though it was a bit fuzzy. Liam sat in view of the camera with armed soldiers around him. A woman with a hand on his shoulder stood nearby. Liam greeted her warmly. Sorry for waking you. Thank you so much for joining us. That's all right, Lillian. Why am I needed here? Lillian asked, her voice warm and reassuring. To confirm. Liam. First, do you still plan to continue with the divorce as you wanted? Lillian asked. Yes, as planned. I won't give her anything. She can look through the trash if she wants. Lillian, I'm begging you, just end this. I'm ready to move on and put an end to this. I'll do that. Next, do you plan to continue with the lawsuits for alienation of affection? Yes, all of them, every single one. No mercy, Lillian. We have to make them pay for what they did. Liam said, staring at Abby coldly. She turned pale and almost left her seat, but her mother held her in place. I'll do it, Liam. Have you reconsidered your stance on the issue with Abby Robertson? No, I don't know that person. Are we done here, Lillian? I've got a busy day. Let's stick to what we talked about. I've got your back. Thank you, Liam. Stay safe. Liam smiled warmly. He nodded at the captain next to him, who was also armed. I don't have much choice with her following me everywhere, he added, a playful glimmer in his eye. I love her, though. She's taking good care of me. Liam leaned back, showing a pistol in his shoulder holster. Sarah gasped. Liam, where are you? What are you doing? Liam frowned and ended the call. Sarah turned to Lillian. Where is he? Lillian, my dear, where's my husband? Please tell me. I have a right to know, don't I? She added kindly. Mrs. Robertson, please understand that Liam Robertson has instructed me not to share his whereabouts with you. You'll call me Miss Prescott. You're legally separated, not in his will, and you don't have any rights concerning my client. I might share some information as I decide, But please don't talk to me about rights after what you did to that man. Sarah was crying. Abby was also crying, shocked at her father's anger. Lillian, please. He's in danger, right? What is he doing? Where is he? Please, Lillian, bring him back. I love him. Please, Lillian. Lillian felt furious. She wanted to shake Sarah, but she kept her cool. Sarah's lawyer remained silent, enjoying his coffee. You love him? Lillian asked, her voice tinged with emotion. That's a lie. Lillian, Charlie interjected gently. This is bad enough, don't you think? What harm is there in my client knowing where her husband is? Is that important to the court proceedings? You've got full control to act for him, so what does it really matter? Lillian shot a glare at Sarah and Abby, then nodded. You're right, Charlie. For once. Fine. Lillian sat at the table. Liam was offered to lead a project overseas, but it wasn't really an offer. He had to accept or find another job. He wanted to talk to his loving wife before deciding. The day he heard about the job, he came home to talk about it. That's when you told him you were going on a date with Robert Lindstrom. But, oh, the things he couldn't stop thinking about. Your decision to leave him for your lover. You chose to leave your husband and your marriage that night. I understand that situations like this don't come with a manual, but I'm struggling to find a way to be understanding. You left Liam behind. He decided there was no reason to refuse the job anymore, so he took it that evening just before talking to Abby. He wanted to tell his daughter what he was doing, but she was too busy pushing him away. She didn't seem to care about what he was going through. She just wanted to move on with her life without feeling sorry for him. He was set to leave the following Saturday, and he had just enough time to sort things out. You, Mrs. Robertson, didn't come back to the house and told him not to bother you while you were spending time with your lover for the rest of the week. So he didn't bother you. He was heartbroken over the loss of his family and took care of his tasks. He left early Saturday morning, spent 3 days getting weapons training at Fort Benning in Georgia, then flew to Iraq on military planes. Now he goes between Iraq and Afghanistan, and he'll do that for at least a year. The woman you saw next to him is the commander of his personal security team. Her job is to keep Liam safe, and I'm so glad you know that. He's where he is because he had no reason to stay. He doesn't have a wife or daughter, and he doesn't have family because of you too. I understand that you have a different perspective on the matter, but I'm afraid I have to disagree with you about the concept of rights in this situation. I'm sorry, but you both really disgust me. The room fell silent except for the sound of Sarah and Abby crying. Charlie looked a bit bored. All right then. As for the divorce, my client is the one who wants it. Unfortunately, she won't be receiving any support. There won't be any alimony or support. She has two options. She can either buy out my client's share of the house or sell it. We know she has the financial means to do so. Please, Charlie. My client was in charge of all the money stuff, and he had access to her bank accounts with her permission. She never took that permission away. Lillian, I understand your concern, but this isn't relevant. She's currently unemployed, and it's not my client's fault. Her bad choices and behavior led to her firing, not Liam's. He won't be punished because your client acted that way. Lillian, there's really no need to worry. Please, Lillian, don't do this to Charlie. She's a complex person, and I understand that. My client still has access to the house, so I do too. I had it appraised while removing the cameras Liam had installed. Lillian kindly pushed copies of the appraisal across the table. As you know, my client is likely to receive at least 65% of the house in an adultery case. And since his money paid the mortgage, she might even get more. I've got all the payment history from his account, so we're good to go. Your client never made a payment, even when working. Charlie looked at the appraisal and shook his head. Don't worry, Lillian, but there's also a countersuit. Abby Robertson wants your client to pay the rest of her college expenses, including room and board, and an allowance. Lillian laughed. No way, and absolutely not. Abby Robertson is no longer his responsibility. She won't survive my client's suit against her. We're disappointed in her, and she should be grateful for that. Lillian, let's be real here. Charlie, let's just drop this. Okay? Her 4 friends have confessed everything. They've given us their recordings and notes on this act. They've given everything to us, but they didn't get any promises of being let off the hook in the lawsuits. They promised to testify against his soon-to-be ex-wife and Abby. There's no doubt that Abby started this and Sarah helped plan it. I'm sorry, but I think you're wasting your client's time and money. I'm sorry, but they're not going to get anything. I'm not sure why we're even here. I understand you're feeling protective, but I'm worried that this might be counterproductive. There are 2 reasons. First, to give you our evidence. Second, so your clients can see Liam's determination. They saw him, they heard him. I'm sure they're not doubting now, are they? Lillian chose to focus on Charlie, ignoring Sarah and Abby. He kept looking at his clients until Sarah spoke. I'll fight the divorce. I don't care what evidence you have. I'll insist on counseling. I'm confident I can do that. Lillian laughed, her tone teasing. Go for it. Get your counseling order. You'll attend 1 session with me. Explain it, Charlie. Lillian's right. She can represent your husband in every way, including court-ordered counseling. She speaks for him. That's not fair. I want to talk to my husband. Please explain. Mrs. Robertson, you had your chance and you chose not to take it. Your daughter did the same. It's time to face the consequences of your actions. It's time to accept what Liam has offered and move on. Perhaps down the road he might change his mind. It's possible, although it's unlikely. Lillian, I'm so sorry to hear about your situation. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't. Then you tell them, Charlie. I'm being a bit generous here because of my past friendship with your clients. But if you push me, I'll have to be ruthless. I'm really disappointed in them for what they did to my friend. So go on, Charlie. Go on, Charlie. Push me. I'll do my best to make sure they're completely destroyed for life. I understand. Let me just take a moment to review what you gave me and talk to my clients. You have until the end of Friday at 5 p.m. Not 1 second later, Charlie. That's really not very long at all. I'll make it simple for you. Just watch the videos of Sarah with her friend, and you'll see what I mean. It'll only take you 10 minutes, tops, to see that she doesn't stand a chance in the divorce. Spend a couple of hours looking at the evidence from her daughter's friends, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see that both Sarah and Abby are guilty, no doubt. Then, take an hour to listen to your clients plotting against Liam Robertson. I'd also recommend taking 20 minutes to look over Sarah's financial papers. Once again, it's clear. By the end of the day, you'll have a clear picture of where they stand. Charlie, you've got my clients' demands. Their demands, and you've got until the end of Friday to comply. After that, I'm going to take everything they have. They put my client through a difficult time on purpose, and I'm going to do the same to them. Lillian, I've never seen you like this before. I'm sure you'll do your best to behave professionally. Just laugh it off, Charlie. I filed in Judge Merck, I used to work for her. She's already seen all of this, Charlie. She's already talked to Liam twice. She's even talked to Abby's friends and read their statements. You'll get your turn, Charlie. It's only fair, right? I'm giving you 7 minutes to present your whole case, and then you're sunk. I'll even bet you, Charlie. I'm sure Sarah Robertson won't be allowed to keep Liam's last name after the divorce. Just make sure she has her birth certificate with her when she goes to court, because she'll be leaving that courtroom with her maiden name again. What? That would be so unfair. The court can't order that. So I'm willing to bet on this. I'll even throw in a week's worth of coffee. I'll buy you a coffee to make up for it, my friend. I'll gladly take your offer. Oh, you're too sweet, Lillian. You're being silly, Lillian. Oh, I'm sure I am. You've never beaten me in court, Charlie. You've never quite caught me, and you've never been close. This case, though, I'm going to win so decisively that you'll never want to set foot in a courtroom again. You might as well open a dry cleaners. Sarah and Abby were both watching the argument in front of them. They were horrified by Lillian's anger, and even more so that their lawyer was fidgeting in his chair and sweating. They felt overwhelmed and knew it. Sarah broke in. Enough, Lillian. Please, enough. Mr. Baker, I really appreciate your help. I understand that I no longer need your services. Please keep all of the documents. And, if you could just send your final bill to my home address, that'd be great. Mrs. Robertson, I'm sorry, but this is crazy. She's just trying to bluff you. Mrs. Robertson, I've known this woman for nearly 20 years. She's not bluffing. Sarah glanced at her watch. I'm afraid I won't be paying you beyond 11 a.m. today. You should take a look around and see what else is open. Oh, and she was also not going to pay him to represent her daughter. She's perfectly capable of making her own arrangements if she wants to continue with her case. Mom, please be quiet, Abby. Please be quiet, Abby. Charlie Baker let out a sigh and then left the conference room. Sarah sat back in her seat, feeling a bit defeated. Abby looked scared. You two should leave, Lillian said in a calm voice. You should get another lawyer if you want, but hurry. The judge won't give you more time. I know that already. Sarah shook her head. No more lawyers. I'm not going to fight the divorce. What are Liam's demands? Do you have them listed? Sarah, it would be better if we could talk this through another way. I'm here to represent Liam, and only Liam. Just so you know, this meeting is still being recorded. I understand. I'm totally cool with that. What are his demands? What did he ask you to do? Lillian gave a playful snort. He asked me to burn you both to ashes. Sarah's body seemed to recoil at that sentence. Very well. How do you plan to do that? Are you sure you want to continue with me? I am. I understand that this has caused a rift with my husband. I take full responsibility for it. He didn't do anything to deserve the way I treated him, or the shame I put on him. What's my punishment? Have you read the divorce papers? I did, and I don't remember all of it. I was shocked to receive them. I was surprised and shocked that he would take this action. I don't know why, but I thought he would agree to stay married with the changes I wanted. I don't know why I thought that. I should have known better. I just knew he loved me deeply. I thought he'd accept. He had to accept. I should have. Yes, you should have. He's in danger, isn't he? He is. It's constant, isn't it? The people protecting him are really good at their job. He's got a good shot at making it through. Sarah's body shook with sobs. She sobbed as she explained that he was going to quit his job. That was his plan until he got home and you made that silly statement to him. Abby, of course, was the last straw. She might have made a difference, but she didn't care about him either. I'll pay off the house and give it to him. He doesn't want the house. He told me he'd never set foot in that house again. Not after what you did with that guy on Liam's bed. I'll sell it then and give him all the money. That would be a start. What else do you need, Lillian? You won't get alimony from him, and he won't pay for any maintenance for you or Abby. And as for Abby's insurance, I'm afraid he's not going to be covering that either. He won't do anything at all. I understand. What about you? I'll cover your legal fees. Liam's already taken care of what needed to be paid. I'm happy to represent my friend pro bono. What does that mean? It means I'm not taking any money for helping my friend. It's really none of your business. You're welcome to keep your car. He doesn't need one where he is. She said that there's nothing left in the house that he wants or needs. Sarah asked about the bank accounts. He took half before he left, but he hasn't checked your accounts. I should. He didn't touch your personal account, only the joint checking and savings accounts. He also took half of the CDs you both had. Liam said the rest of the CDs are in the office safe, and I'm sure they are. If he said so. What else, Lillian? I'm sure there's more to it than that. Oh, I could really go after you, Sarah, but I won't. My friend is in bad shape from what you two did to him. He's ready to move on from this chapter of his life, and I totally respect that. The sooner, the better. He needs that, and I'm here for him. If you could come back tomorrow morning at 10, that would be really great. I'll have the papers ready for you to sign. Selling your house is a great idea. The divorce won't be finalized until you do, so I hope you can swing it. Also, could you spell your maiden name for me? Liam says you won't keep your last name, and I think he's right. You don't need it, and it's not fair to you. Absolutely. Haskell. I was born Sarah and Haskell. I'm sure you'll go back to that name after the divorce. Is that all? Yes, for me. Lillian, I'm curious about the lawsuit against Abby. Don't worry about that. It's not your responsibility. She's like a daughter to me. No, Sarah. Abby's an adult who destroyed her family, your marriage, and her father. She'll have to answer for her actions. either in court or through her own words. I'm at a loss for words. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Well, it is what it is, my dear. What did you expect? Did you think Liam would just give in to your childish ways? Have you no respect for him at all? This shouldn't have happened. It wasn't supposed to go this way. Abby started crying. Oh, honey, are you all right? Did you hear me? I'm sorry, but I'm a bit confused. Did you mean to do this to your father? I'm sorry, but I'm a bit confused. I'm sorry, but I'm a bit confused. Did you even check where they came from? Lillian, stop talking, Sarah. Just stop, please. What about the other students in your group? Abby? Did any of them try this with their parents? Abby nodded. Yes, she said softly. We tried, but the other parents didn't listen to us. Some of them even mocked us. It's my fault, Lillian, Sarah said, her voice gentle. I was curious when Abby called and told me about it. I wanted to try it. I don't know why, but I just felt it was the right thing to do. It just felt like the right thing to do. I didn't want to lose Liam, but I wanted more in my life. Her idea really resonated with me. I swear, I had never been unfaithful to Liam. I swear, not once in our marriage. It wasn't until I came to terms with myself that I realized I wasn't being unfaithful. I was just trying to adapt our marriage to fit my desires. I thought I was free. Or at least that's what I told myself. Oh, Abby, Lillian whispered. And you, Abby, did you ever think to talk to Liam about this at the same time you told your mom? No. I knew he would never agree. I didn't think about how it would hurt him, but I did. I knew it would hurt him and I offered to help him get through it. Yes, I have your texts. That's what you call help. Convincing him to accept your mother's behavior. No, I wasn't. I didn't. Lillian shot Abby a disapproving look, then turned her attention to Sarah. Is this what you consider to be intelligent behavior? Is this the modern interpretation of intelligence? Lillian, I'm embarrassed to be a woman today, because of the two of you. You make me sick. Tell me, Abby, you're supposed to be smart. How do you plan to handle Liam's lawsuit? Are you going to fight it? I don't want it. I want it to go away. I'd love to win the lottery. It's not going to happen, though. I'm sure it feels great to want something you can't have. After all, he has $1 million lawsuit against you. How do you plan on handling it? Abby was crying. I don't have that kind of money. I wish I could make it go away. Please make it go away. Oh, Abby, I'm so sorry. And you haven't said you're sorry for what you did to Liam. I'm sure you have a lot of growing up to do. You're the one who caused this, and I'm sorry. I wish I could, but I can't. I wish I could be more understanding, but I can't. Lillian, I'm begging you. You're right. We should be punished. I totally agree. She's already lost her scholarships and now can't get school loans or grants. And I have another job lined up, though it's not as good. I can pay a settlement if it's not too much. As for her school, I don't really care about her education, Sarah. She made her own choices and I understand that. I'm not going to stress about it, though. That's on her. I'm not going to let you pay her way through this. She has to take responsibility for her own actions. Liam might, but he won't. I'm speaking for Liam here. I'm the one who has to deal with it. I'm here to help you figure this out, or we can take it to court if you'd prefer. She doesn't have a chance in court. Okay, Lillian. How much would you settle for? For Abby? How much would calm your anger? Liam's anger. Lillian leaned back, glaring at Sarah. The other parents offered to settle at $100,000 each. I might accept those offers, but not from Abby. Then what? Give me a number, Lillian. Give Abby a number. Lillian felt her jaw tighten as she thought. This is a one-time offer. Abby will eat. Either way, you'll have to accept it now or take her chances in court. Is that clear? I do. I'll ask Abby. Yes, I understand. $250,000. You'll need a full-time job and you'll make payments from your paychecks. If your mother can pay for it, you can go to night school, but you'll need to work full-time and pay this money yourself. And you'll also change your last name to your mother's maiden name. You don't deserve Liam's name. If you break this deal, I'll drag you to court for the full $1 million. Abby's eyes widened, and she was left speechless. She remained like that for a few seconds, then fainted and fell to the floor. Sarah rushed to her side, but Lillian didn't even look over. After a few minutes, Sarah got Abby back into her chair and wiped her face with water from the bottle on the table. When Abby was awake, Lillian asked, "Are you done with the drama? Is there anything else you'd like to do? Do you want to cry some more? I need an answer. Are you accepting or refusing Abby?" Sarah started to speak, but Lillian cut her off. "No, only Abby talks. I accept," Abby said, then started crying again. Lillian snorted. "You have 3 weeks to find a full-time job. Just show me proof of your job and your payments to the bank account I give you. I'd love to have you come with your mother tomorrow morning to sign your settlement. Now it's time for you to leave." "I'm sorry, but I'm a bit disappointed." Lillian stood and gathered the folders in front of her. "Lillian, may I ask a question? Just a moment, please." "What is it, Liam?" "Lillian, can I write to him? An email?" "Oh, Sarah, what do you hope to get from this? Don't you think he has enough things to deal with? He doesn't care why you did what you did. It was too much. Please, just leave him alone. Give it 6 or 7 months and then we can talk about it. Just leave him be for now." "It's not that, Lillian. I just want to make sure he's safe. That's all I want. Maybe just send him a short note now and then." "Are you still seeing that loser?" "What? No, there's no one. Not since I was served. The day after, I think. No, he's gone. No, he's gone. No, no one else." "I promise," Lillian said, her voice gentle. "I didn't tell you this. If you betray me, you're dead. Do you understand?" Sarah nodded, her eyes welling up with tears. "He still has his old personal email. I'm not sure how often he checks it, but it's there. Let's do our best not to mess this up." "I won't," Sarah said, her voice cracking with emotion. "I promise." "Thank you. One thing, though, don't let Abby reach out to him. Just give her some time and she'll come around. She hurt him more than you did. He's his only child, and it's heartbreaking to see him turn on him like that. I understand. Thank you so much." Liam woke up in his dark room. There was a small nightlight, which was really helpful, but the room was still dim. He looked over at Maggie, who was sleeping beside him. She was awake now, ready for any danger. She didn't say a word or stir. He could tell she was looking at him with her serious expression, which she called her resting face. It showed no emotion. At first it was a bit strange, but now he really liked it. It made him feel so much more at ease. "What woke you up?" she whispered. "I don't know," he answered softly. "Maybe it was just a bad dream. Or maybe it was gas." She smiled, and he could tell because he saw a quick flash of her teeth. Just a quick glimpse, but it was enough to put a smile on her face. Maggie could see better in the dark than Liam could, and she could easily see his body, which was more fit than when he started this job. He had asked for help, and she taught him everything. He had a body like a 30-year-old now, even though he was almost 42. He was getting pretty good at his job, too. She watched him, but she didn't need to babysit him anymore. He was capable. She enjoyed his company, which was rare for her. She had dated many men, but none of them had stuck around. She had a reputation for being a bit unsettling, but Liam didn't mind. He really liked her intelligence, honesty, patience, and sense of humor. He admired her bravery, which she revealed with a playful, non-threatening laugh. After a month of getting to know each other, a surprising event occurred. She didn't have any plans for him because of his situation back home, and he didn't have any plans for her for the same reason. But then, while they were driving a patrol route in the middle of nowhere, one of the Humvee's tires blew out. At first, they thought it was an attack and reacted accordingly, but it wasn't. It was just a bad tire, and there wasn't a spare. Maggie called for a tow truck, letting them know where they were. They were told to wait 2 hours, so Maggie went around to join Liam by the front tire and sat next to him when he made a Skype call to his lawyer's office. During that call, she saw his soon-to-be ex-wife and his daughter for the first time. Maggie was surprised and a bit confused by his ex-wife's decision to leave, thinking they didn't deserve each other. People noticed her hand on his shoulder. Captain Dunbarton explained that it was just a way to show support to the folks back home, which was true, but there was more to it. The whole platoon was in on it in no time, and they understood her reasons and nodded in agreement. They liked and respected Liam, and they thought the captain was good for him. This was enough for them as long as they were careful. Back home, Liam got an email from his lawyer within 2 hours. Thanks, Liam. Sorry to wake you up, but you made things easier. Sarah let their lawyer go and decided to move on. She has regrets, but it's all over now. I'm happy to say that I was able to get a great deal for you with Abby. Everyone else gave good offers, too. I'll send more details once everything is signed. We'll have everything finalized by the end of the week. There's no court time involved. I'm so excited for you, and that tall woman, she's really gorgeous. Isn't she? Please let me know if you're interested. Liam laughed, and so did Maggie. She thinks I'm gorgeous. Is she serious? Absolutely. Lillian always says what she means. You've got a fan in Maggie. I'll be sure to introduce you when we return to the States. You do that? Of course. Why wouldn't I? You think we'll still be together? Yes, I truly hope so. This isn't a rebound for me. I really want to be with you. Is that okay with you? Maggie was quiet for a few moments and then she frowned. Strangely, it's not a problem. I've never had a long-term relationship before. I never expected to. But I want this with you. I don't know why, but I do. You accept me unconditionally, and I can't thank you enough. It's really rare for me to feel this way. I'm excited to see where this goes. Is that okay? Liam chuckled. That's perfectly fine. That's fine. I really hope I'm not disappointing you. Maggie snorted with laughter. You're saying that because of what Sarah did. She was foolish, and I'm sorry to say that she never deserved you. She didn't have much love or honor in her life. I'm not like her. You're absolutely right to try to win my heart. And if you do, you'll have it forever. I'm excited to see how you'll do that. This led to a wild night, and Maggie was the one who finally called it a night. Liam couldn't remember a time in his life that made him happier. Took Liam 2 weeks to reply to Lillian. Lillian was the first on the list. No camels for me, but I'm happy for you. Thanks, my friend. I'm so happy to hear the chaos back home is finally coming to an end. How can I thank you? I don't know what I did to earn your trust, but I'll do my best to never forget it. Just give me a nudge if I start to wander. I can't imagine life without you. Did you record the meeting? If you could send me a clip, I'd really appreciate it. I wouldn't watch it back home, but here we have little to do during downtime. Seeing it might help with closure, but no worries if you can't. By the way, that Amazon is Captain Maggie Dumbarton. She's aware of the challenges I was facing back home, as they could potentially impact her mission. I was pleasantly surprised by how open I felt sharing my struggles with her. It really helped. She's a great listener and helps me stay focused. She also pushes me hard, physically, calling it conditioning. I like to call her Maggie in private. I'm looking forward to meeting you both when we return to the States. Maybe we can meet up on a beach somewhere. If everything goes as planned, I'll finish this task early, maybe 2 or 3 weeks sooner than expected. Old Man Abernathy put together a great team, so hopefully everything goes as planned. There are always a few things that could slow us down, but I'm hopeful that won't be the case. I'm really looking forward to leaving this heat and sand behind, especially the sand. It's everywhere. It's like you can shower and then 2 minutes later there's sand on you again. I'm sure we can all agree that that's one thing we'll all be glad to leave behind. Now it's back to work for me. Thank you so much for everything you do for me. I love you. I've always loved you, and I always will. Lillian read Liam's email for the 5th time. His first line revealed the special bond he shared with Captain Maggie. He didn't mention it because he wasn't divorced yet, but it was clear to everyone. Lillian felt so good knowing that. Yes, she loved Liam, but she wasn't sure what kind of love it was. She wasn't jealous of Maggie. But what did that mean about her feelings? Maybe she was just happy he wasn't alone over there. Maybe that was it. Maggie, though, she was very pretty. Lillian was eager to meet her and get to know her better. They could become very close, who knows? Liam's photos were impressive, showing off his toned physique. But now he's lean, tanned, and his muscles are clearly defined in that shirtless photo. Maggie must have him lifting weights. In the photo, Liam was standing in what looked like a desert, shirtless, looking off into the distance. He had his gun strapped to his bare chest, and he looked content. He had a slight smile and his eyes were clear. He also had a short military haircut. That made perfect sense. He was with a group of fellow service members, and the heat was intense. He looked so good. Lillian printed the photo and put it in a frame for her desk. She thought about it, and then printed another one for home. She also sent a copy to Liam's boss. His coworkers would see how much he had changed. The other photos were from different times, different backgrounds, different clothing, maybe from Iraq and Afghanistan. He didn't say, so she couldn't guess. She thought it was important to save all the photos. Lillian had a thought that wasn't very nice. She thought about sending that shirtless photo to Sarah with a message. See what you lost? But she thought better of it. She didn't want to cause any more problems. Everything was done, signed, dated, and notarized. All that was left to do was get Judge Merkel's signature.